A very good morning, all of you. Hope you all are keeping well. Students, I welcome everyone to today's English online class. Dear children, let us learn today the fourth poem of Hornbill book, Childhood, composed by Marcus Nathan. Students, in today's video lecture, we shall cover up about the poet, introduction of the poem, stanza-wise explanation, difficult words of the poem, and poetic devices used in the poem. So, first of all, student, let us know something about the poet. Students, the poet is Marcus Nathan, and he is the Norwegian poet. Students, details of his life are very sketchy, so it is unclear when and where he was born. Students, he wrote his lovely poem Childhood when he turned 12. So the poem is a translation actually, students. So one can imagine how great it would be in his language. So for introduction of the poem, students in this poem, Childhood, the poet ponders over the question of his lost childhood. He recalls a number of stages when his thoughts and perceptions about the world and people changed. Students, he tries to identify that one particular stage or time when he lost his childhood and stepped into adulthood. Students, he feels a sense of nostalgia actually for the lost childhood, and finally he settles down with an idea that his childhood has gone to some forgotten place, and that place could only be seen in an infant's innocent face only. So let us see what is there in the first stanza. Students, in the first stanza, in the above lines are like this. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? Here, student, ceased means come to an end. So let us see what poet is saying in the above lines. In the above line, the poet wonders about when his childhood came to an end. He asked himself, was it the day he was no longer 11 years old? Or was it the day when he realized that hell and heaven existed and yet could not be found in geography book or on the map? So student, he realized that they are actually imaginary places that actually do not exist in the world. Because to children we say that if you do good work you will go to heaven, if you do bad work you will go to hell. So children remain under this impression that heaven and hell are actually places. But when a child grows up, he finds out that no such places exist in the world. These are only imaginary places. And let us see what is there in the next stanza. The lines of next stanza are like this. When did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seemed to be? They talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? Students, in the above line, the poet again repeats the same question. When did his childhood go? And students, the poet wonders about the day when he started seeing the world actually with a new perception that adults are hypocrites and are not how they seemed to be. The adults actually who talked of love and preached of love and yet never behaved so lovingly. They are double faced in reality, students. So, was that the day when his childhood go? So, this is his impression in the second stanza. Let us see what message he is conveying in the third stanza. Third stanza is like this. When did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine to use whichever way I choose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own and my alone? Was that the day? So, see, in this stanza, he's expressing the notion of individuality. Students, he says that, and in the last stanza, he expressed the notion of hypocrisy. And in the third stanza, the poet deliberates on the same questions about when he lost his childhood. He asked himself about possibilities. He wonders about the day he realized that his mind was his own and could use it the way he wants. Yes. So when he realized that he could produce his own thoughts, which were not bound by anyone, when he sensed his own individuality, students, and a separate personality, then only he said these lines. So was that the day he lost his childhood, he's saying. So let us see what if they are in the last stanza. Student, where did my childhood go? It went to some forgotten place that's hidden in an infant's face. That's all I know. Here, infant is a newborn baby. So, students, in the last stanza, the poet remorses about his lost childhood. He concludes that his childhood had gone to some forgotten place which will never come back. He cherished his innocence, which vanished now and could be only seen in a baby's face. He only has sweet memories, students, of his childhood, which would soon fade away, according to him. He also conveyed a message that the innocence of childhood stays till the time one is an infant, and that's all he knows. So, this is here, students, poetic devices which have been used in the poem are the first poetic device is student rationalism. Rationalism is what? The poet rationalizes what? The lost childhood when he was 11 year and when he found out that hell and heaven don't exist and are not found in the geography book, as you can see in these above lines. So in these above lines, student, which literary device, poetic device has been used? Rationalism, when he is rationalizing. And next is which rhyme scheme has been used in the poem Childhood? That is ABBCCD. Next poetic device is, students, refrain. Means a group of phrase which is repeated in the poem. It is refrain. Like when did my childhood go? Was that the day? So every time. So which poetic device is this? Refrain. Next is individuality. In stanza 3, the poet realized that he can use his own mind and can produce his own thoughts. He discovered a sense of individuality in himself. The next poetic device is called antithesis. What is an antithesis, students? When where two opposite words are used together in a sentence in a poem, like oxymoron, hell and heaven. These two opposite words have been used here, beta. So the poetic device is antithesis. Next is alliteration, the occurrence of the same letter of sound at the beginning of closing connected word is alliteration. Like the time, Time also start with T. The also start with T. My mind, whichever way, thoughts, that, like this. And next is inversion. Inversion is when the subject verb order is reversed. As you can see in this line, students, to use whichever way I choose. So I here is what? Subject, but it has been used what? Lastly, at the end. So in this, generally what happens? Subject comes in the beginning of the sentence here. So here subject verb order is reversed. Hope you have understood it. Thank you, students.